Good morning, YouTubers. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. Warm greetings from the High 10, Monday, December 30th, 2019. Hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas holiday for those who celebrate Christmas, and Happy New Year to all of you watching and those who are just dropping in and saying hello. I want to do a few things. This may be a little bit of a windy video because I've got a lot of stuff to digest and break down, questions from commenters and said information that's new. But first I want to send a shout out to TG Global News for the uploaded video of the pic of the bouncy house. I also would like to send a shout out to Miss Jackie's Concern for her Google area view of Tom Brown housing development, and those people who I'm sending the shout out to are going to be relevant in the information that I bring to you in this video. Let me say and let me clarify some things for those of you who may be a little bit slow and can't comprehend. And I hate having to do this, and I'm going to stop it because it's getting old having to explain basic stuff. Anything I talk about on my channel is of my choosing. I mention certain things that may come up in conversation below in the comment section. I may also address issues that people have heard as situations or scenarios going on other channels, certain rhetoric, certain things, social media, the news. I have that right to address anything that someone asks me of. I can't ignore commentary. So for those who have a problem with anything coming up in a past situation pertaining to this Camille McKinney case, then you should stick your head in the sand, along with the other crazy people, because there's always going to be something that's going to arise that is from the past, be it an innuendo, situation, scenario, assumption. I don't have anything to do with that. I can't tell other people how to think. That's their business. That's their choosing. So let me make that clear. In the video I uploaded about the April kidnap, cry wolf syndrome, if you listen carefully, that information came to me via someone affiliated with Birmingham Police Department. I shouldn't have to reveal anything that I don't want to. I don't say that this person is a liar. I don't think that they were lying. And as I stated before, I never said that they committed the crime. I said the father looks guilty. I don't like his behavior, and I don't like the mother's behavior. That's my opinion. The video was about her claiming the man has kidnapped her child when he did not return her child, at a timely fashion or to her liking. That's what that video was about. And I'm not going to question the person who brought that information, because then I would be saying that that person is a liar, and then I'd also be saying that the police were lying, because that's where that person got the information. So we're going to leave it at that. Okay. Back to the bouncy house issue. TG Global News uploaded the pic, and I want to discuss that photograph. Questions that I have and others have had about that said situation. Why now was the photo released? Is it because it was been talked about so many times on social media and the YouTube platforms by other channel holders that no one has ever seen a photo? No one has ever seen a video of the children playing, which we thought were odd. Some of us who actually care about this child's demise thought it was odd. There was never a photo, a video of children playing. Next, why there was no mention of this said bouncy house at a park? Okay? Because we're trying to figure out, if you see the photo, you'll see that it's big. It's not something small. See, I assumed it was a small bouncy house. Just like a little bitty something where a few kids could jump inside. But see, that's the point of assuming. You're not going to know because you never saw a photo. So how would I know? How would others know what the actual bouncy house looked like if we never saw a photo? So now that I have seen the photo, why in God's name would I have ever thought that would be on the property? I always question that. If it was actually on the property of Tom Brown at the said girl's apartment, who threw the party for the child. Now we see the picture. It is big. Okay? And why was it never mentioned by R.S. Mommy or April Thomas that bouncy house was not right in front of the apartment or in the back of an apartment? Because most public housing apartments do have a front and a back door. And we have seen in Google videos and other news footage of Tom Brown, they have front doors, they have back doors, those who have more than, I'm assuming, 2 bedrooms or more apartments. Okay, now that we know, Jesus, this is so just ridiculous to me, that this was not actually in front of an apartment or behind an apartment of the said party hostess, let me give you a little bit of information of Tom Brown development. If you Google to your liking, please do. It's free. Tom Brown is 2 minutes from MLK Park. MLK Jr. Park. It is a 2-minute drive. It is a 5-minute walk. Is this the said place where the bouncy house was located? The next park is Avondale Park. It is 4 minutes by car, 16 minutes by walking, and 6 minutes by bicycle. So let's do assumption guessing again. Let's say the girl said, I'm going to throw it at the MLK Park. It's the closest. It's the closest to walk to. 2-minute drive, 5-minute walk. So they obviously consider this park to be what? A part of Tom Brown housing development. I'm just assuming. Since we're not getting a full clear of where the actual bouncy house was, assuming we thought it was on the property of Tom Brown, let's just say they consider Martin Luther King Park a part of Tom Brown. Let's go there. So where was the bouncy house, honey? Where was the party? Was it at MLK Jr. Park, or was it at Avondale Park, or another park in the city? Because it's not looking like it was on the property due to the fact it was a very big bouncy house. Please let us know, somebody. Verify, because I just found it odd. 2.5 months in, nobody can verify anything. Everything is coming late in the game. And some of you are content with what has been revealed by the parents, what has been said by the news, but most of us who actually are staying woke on the case, things aren't adding up. Okay, so if the party was at the field where the game was, where Mr. Amari played at the game, assumingly, where the mother said she was there with her child, Miss Cupcake. You said it was daylight when you got to the party. 2 people on social media verified that she was at the game. A gentleman verified she was there and a female. One said they last saw her at 6:30. The other person said 7 o'clock. Well, we already know it would have been dark at that time when she was allegedly last seen at this park. But yet she said she dropped the children off at this birthday party. So now if we're getting wind that this birthday party was actually at a park, let's say that it was, then how could you just be getting there? You would have already been there if it was at the said park with the game. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about the party was at another park and then the game was at another park? Clarification. For anybody out there that lives in Birmingham, Alabama, who can verify where the bouncy house was, which park it was in, and if that game was in the same park, because then that would lead one to wonder if the bouncy house party was in the same park with the game, then Miss Thomas didn't have to go far to drop the kids off. And she also stated her car never left. So if the park is 16 minutes, it's, a 5-minute walk, thinking about the other park. If the MLK Park is the actual place where the party took place, it's a 5-minute walk from Tom Brown, which that means that's very close. Still was dark. Too dark for children to be running around. Does not look good to me. Does not look good to me at all. And you said there were 50 or so kids there. Well, we know it probably was or more, because if it was a park area, you'd have a lot of children who could come through and have fun at this said park if it was actually at the park. Also, why would you mislead the public into thinking that this bouncy house was at the Tom Brown development? Because, see, this is where I am confused after seeing that photo. It doesn't look like it would have been on their property. Because you have to think about how big it was. It blocking people's walkway and view to get to their apartment. unless it was put on the Tom Brown housing development somewhere that had a lot of grass and wouldn't have obstructed people walking and coming and going. Let's just say that. Okay. Why arguing with this young lady on social media about this park issue? Because see, this is what starts to make things start getting real grainy. If now we have a picture of this photo floating around that has been revealed on this other network, this other channel, Miss TG's channel, why would the girl be talking about the baby was lost in the park? See, I'm telling y'all, somebody is lying here, but yet everybody wants to focus on the two locked up. Well, we know about the two locked up. That's not no problem. I don't have any problem with the two that are suspects. I don't have any problem with the DNA. I'm not questioning any of that. But people want to know how the child got to be where she was. If she was actually in a park, if she was actually on the Tom Brown housing development when she got missing, because now the photo is contradicting that. So as I stated, once again, what's really going on with the bouncy house and the party? Was it at an apartment or on the Tom Brown, or was it actually in the adjacent park, which is close proximity to Tom Brown, which is the Martin Luther King Jr. Park, excuse me. Yeah, because I'm confused. Okay. And like I said, the girl claiming she got lost in the park. I mean, that's really something to think about. Why would she say that? Because the park don't have anything to do with Tom Brown, or does it? Because actually that's probably where the party was. And the truth is now starting to come out, and people are starting to decide to talk and speak and tell the truth. Because really, that young lady would have no reason to even be talking about a park. What would a park have to do with Tom Brown? Because that's where you led us to believe she was. And if we're not from there, we don't know if Tom Brown has his own private park adjacent or actually on the Tom Brown housing development, because we don't live there and we wouldn't know. For those of you who have not Googled or watched Jackie's Concern video on YouTube, I advise everybody to go Google for themselves so you can see the video footage through Google's eyes of the actual scene of the alleged kidnapping of where she was taken, because I'm starting to really question what in the world is going on just from the Google photos. Let me break it down. There is a building to the left of the screen, which is the Tom Brown daycare. To the right of the screen is a home that is green in color. When you walk down the concrete pathway, there is a carport which houses an SUV. That is the same SUV and carport that you see in the video that was released from the police department to the public. And behind the daycare, which is to the left of the screen, there is little play toys for children, naturally for children, the little slide and all that. Then there is a black fence. Well, on the other side of that fence is the Tom Brown housing development apartments. I'm telling you, with this daytime view, I don't see no court. I don't know what y'all talking about. All I see is a fence at the end of these people's backyard, in the yard of the daycare, children's slides and things on the daycare property, house over here to the right, fence, small area. Other side of the fence is Tom Brown Apartments, and that's allegedly where she and the other child were lured from. And I'm telling you, it doesn't look big. Just from the area view during daylight savings time, from the street to that fence, to over the fence, to obviously there would be grass, and then the said apartments. It's close proximity. For those of you who haven't Googled, Google the area. Tom Brown is surrounded also by businesses, streets, and houses. So on the other side of where the children were lured from, there's a fence there, And on the other side of the fence is the Tom Brown daycare and the homeowner. And it looks like the video surveillance is coming from that house. Or it's coming from somebody across the street, a church. Take your pick. But my assumption, it looks like this house has surveillance. And I wouldn't doubt that it wouldn't be. They live there. They live close to the projects. Why wouldn't they have surveillance cameras and security cameras? I mean, come on. That's why they got a fence separating the properties. So it's very odd to me that these two people, Derica Brown and Patrick Stallworth, would be willing to walk right near apartment doors to take the children, take the child. Very, very odd to me. And that's why I wanted to Google for myself so I could see and I get a street's view from the curb to the back of that fence and over that fence, separating the house and the daycare. It's the other side of that fence is the Tom Brown property, apartments. And they took the children, that child, right over that fence. And I'm telling you, even though it was dark, 7:24, it's hard to believe they would be willing to take the children right there near somebody's door. Come on now. And you can say whatever you want to say about this video, where you think I'm going with this. You take it how you want. I'm just speaking facts. It is peculiar of the close proximity to the fence, to the grass, to the door of someone's home, that someone would be willing to walk through there without thinking they would be seen. Not thinking somebody's door would be open. Someone would be looking out of a bedroom window, kitchen window, whichsoever. Very peculiar. Very peculiar to me. But as I state, I'm not refuting any evidence that has been brought to from the state of the two people. I'm just stating now with this picture of the bouncy house, and it's looking like it wasn't even on the Tom Brown property, but possibly adjacent with the park at the MLK park. Just looks whack to me. Everything is looking whack to me after the fact. Okay. For the girl, and this is of the other property, at Woodside property. In the video, the police is talking to a young lady. She states her sister saw the child with the two. Okay, that's so messed up to me. Why didn't the person who actually saw the child with them, why didn't she call the police if she thought that was the child that was missing? I mean, that just makes no sense to me. If you thought that was the missing child, why didn't you call the police? Why is this girl now saying something because the police just happened to be in the building, asking the tenants and visitors questions, and then out of the blue you say, oh yeah, my sister said she saw her. She saw the little girl. Well, why didn't she call? And we know she couldn't have called because the police is telling this chick, well, hey, you need to notify your sister. She need to come down to headquarters. Y'all need to come down to headquarters, give a statement. So now you have to wonder, hell, did she even go down there? So many odd situations. Why are these people seeing things and not speaking? I find this baffling. All of this. No pictures of the bouncy house or the party. Now it's looking like it was at a park. But yet we're thinking it was right there on the apartment complex property. Mother ain't telling nobody that it was or was not. So why would we think that it was not on the property? The police were there. They have it cordoned off. They're searching. They're looking around because we're assuming that's where everything happened. But it's not looking like that. And I'm sorry, but it's not. Because that video surveillance shows, yes, other side of the fence, that is the Tom Brown property where doors and people lived. So these two people were brazen to walk right up near people's homes and take the children, take the child, excuse me. Take that child and lure the other one out of there. That is mind-blowing to me. Very mind-blowing. And let's say this bouncy house photo that was released to Miss TG Global News. It is the actual bouncy house. And like I said, it's looking like it's in a park. Then the news and the public were misled. Now, how would the news feel about that if this wasn't actually on Tom Brown property? You're standing out here filming. You're thinking the party was here. You're thinking the bouncy house was here. What is the truth? What is the truth? I have a source who said to me, and they are speaking highly of the person who's bringing this information, that Miss April Thomas lived in Norwood, which is North Birmingham, Norwood area, Norwood Boulevard, and that a month or two before this kidnapping, that around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, she was out yelling for her child, I guess, to come in. Now, I don't know if Miss Thomas has moved to this new location, but what I find interesting is that when I double back to the video where Mr. McKinney was giving his interview and the news reporter asked him where she lived, he said she lives in South Avondale. And he said near Crestwood Boulevard. So if this source is correct, that she lived near the Norwood Elementary School off of Norwood Boulevard, and that place actually exists, this Norwood Boulevard and Norwood Elementary School, they do exist. Norwood Boulevard is 8 minutes from Crestwood Boulevard. Same city, 6.6 miles away. Norwood is North Birmingham. South Avondale is south of Birmingham, south of Woodlawn, east of Avondale, and north of Irondale, if you are familiar with that area. And I'd like to know why someone would want to notify me from Birmingham, Alabama, that a month or two before the child went missing, that she's out hollering and screaming at 10 or 11 o'clock at night for her child to come in. And this person is vouching for the said person who know of this information, and that this person is a God-fearing woman, and she would have no reason to lie about this allegation. So what I've been trying to say to some of you is that you can believe what you want to believe about this case. You can think what you want. You're grown. You're entitled to your opinion. But you do not have the right to tell others what to think and how to dissect something, because once something becomes public information, it is a person's prerogative how they view the said information and what comes from it, be it truth or not. And frankly, I can tell you the truth. From my own perspective, from what I'm viewing and seeing, hearing, the only thing I believe is that the child was found dead in a dumpster. That everything else looks grainy to me. It looks very grainy, because what you have to ask yourself is this. I say this 1,000 times. A story has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it may have another ending depending on the said information. And something is not right. Something is really funky and foul with this bouncy house situation. And if a person can lie about a bouncy house and its actual location, they will lie about anything. Because to me, that's pertinent information, and that's been made public, and the news ran with that story, and so did the people on social media, and those who were listening, and those who heard of the story in Birmingham and abroad, in America, everywhere. So if this bouncy house was not on that property, then what have we been listening to? Because it can't be both. Did the party take place with the bouncy house on Tom Brown property only? Or did it take place in another park, another setting? Does Tom Brown actually have a basketball court? Or is there a park nearby that has a basketball court? Because you see, if people don't think that you're going to investigate or really go looking, they'll tell you anything. Now, I don't know why anyone will make up anything to the police, because they're the ones investigating and alongside the FBI. But I always find that when people don't have much to talk about and they don't really give pertinent information, such as a timeline, then there's a reason for that. And I brought you all this information because I thought you want to know. I have people who comment below. I can't ignore their comments. There are people who are new to the storyline, and they ask the same questions that we've talked about 1,000 times. And yes, I hate repeating myself, but it's not my fault that they don't know about the story, and they ask questions that they are hearing and seeing from other people, other channels, social media. So they have a right to try to figure out what we're talking about. And if they ask me a question, I have to answer it. It would be stupid of me not to try to answer the question. Do I have the right answer? Of course not, because I wasn't there. But these people have a right to ask whatever they want to ask. People who are familiar with the story have the right to continue to ask, continue to question said information. As I've stated to some of these people who don't listen well, I don't know what happened October 12th. I don't know all parties involved. I don't say that I think the parents were involved. I say they have been deceitful in their information. I say that the father and both mother have talked too much on social media, still blabbering and talking when they should be quiet and mourning the child and raising the children that they have left. That is my feeling on that. Now, some of you are still questioning everything and who's involved, and that's your prerogative. I just don't care for people to just, get an attitude about what I say in my video and what other people are saying in their videos. If a person really cared about their well-being and being truthful, then they would tell the truth, and then they would also stay off of the lie book with the lies. You see, you can't stop people from talking on social media, Twitter, Snapchat. People do what they want. They're grown. I don't have any control over that. And I have not fed into all the innuendos pertaining to this case because some were far-fetched. But see, a lot of people who don't listen properly, they think because you have mentioned those innuendos that you believe them. No, I put out what is being said, never said it was the truth because, once again, I wasn't there, nor were you, and nor are the other people who are speaking what they think happened to Camille McKinney. That's my update of this video. And to clarify any other information, I believe I've done so in this video. But I do find it interesting that all of a sudden, in this close proximity of 24 hours, 48 hours, I make a video about the Bouncy house and why everything's such a secret. Then all of a sudden, this lady at another channel gets a picture. Of course, everybody else has been talking about it as well. You have to admit it's odd. All this time has gone by. It just pops up a picture. Okay. So what are we to believe? Is that the actual picture? Is that the picture on Tom Brown or another location? You have to ask yourself, have we been misled? Have we not been given the truth of what actually took place on October 12th? Are we to believe that that Bouncy house party took place at Tom Brown Housing Development? Why are people notifying people of said situations that, as I stated in my past video, this girl would tell people, or maybe she told the police, I don't know, I don't have verification of that yet, that this man kidnapped her baby daddy, didn't bring the baby back on time. And I'm not saying he did this, for those who can't hear, but I'm just saying the sequence and the timing of everything. Why is somebody just now wanting to notify me and tell me that? And this person, this information, as I said, is related to law enforcement. That's what they're talking about. I didn't make that up. And why would these people who are in law enforcement be whispering that? So you see, there's got to be some truth somewhere to some of this stuff. I don't say that everything's the truth, but it's up for grabs once it has been released and it has been spoken. You believe what you want to believe. But now here comes another source saying a month or so before, she's out 10, 11 o'clock calling for her child in this Norwood area. Now, like I said, did she just move to this South Avondale area or what? They're 8 minutes apart. Norwood area versus this Crestwood Boulevard place. Just saying, the timing is interesting. Take it how you will. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Hit the like button. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. New friends, old friends. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your commentary. I appreciate the sources and their said information. And we will see how it turns out. Until the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.